Good afternoon, students. So we'll continue with chapter 9, history. So we will continue with chapter 9, history, caste and women caste, women caste and reforms. Women caste and reforms. The chapter which we are going to continue. Now today's topic is caste and social reform. This is the topic which we are going to discuss. Okay. Now the social reformers who were there, these social reformers, they criticized caste inequality. So they criticized the caste inequality. How? What they did? So in this, Raja Ram Mohan Roy translated an old Buddhist text that was critical of caste. Okay. Then the Prarthana Samaj adhered to the tradition of bhakti, spiritual equality, of all castes. Then the Paramhans Mandali was founded in 1840 to work for the abolition of caste. So what happened? There were many inequalities as per the caste. Many people were considered as untouchables. The people were not, untouchables were not allowed to go into the temple. They were not allowed to intermix with the society. They were kept outside of the village. So like that, there were many inequalities, if you see, which was there in the society based on the caste. So now people concentrated on this caste inequality and they criticized them. Now how they criticized them? So Raja Ram Mohan Roy, as we know, he was a linguist. all people are equal, all living beings are equal, life in any form should be respected and equally valued. Okay, so in Buddhist texts, Raja Ram Mohan Roy found that they have not supported caste system, they were against the caste system and all, and they equally valued all form of life, every people. So what he did, he translated that old Buddhist text and the people now were able to read them. Okay. Now the Prarthana Samaj was there, and they adhered to the tradition of bhakti, spiritual equality of all castes. So what they told, their thought was that all the caste is equal. Okay. There should be spiritual equality. Like if you see these untouchables, they were not allowed to go into the temple, right? So they told the Prarthana Samaj, these people told that this bhakti and spiritual thing is for everyone. So all the castes should be equally treated and equally valued, and equal rights should be there for everyone. Okay. Now Paramhans Mandali was founded in 1840, and these Paramhans Mandali worked for the abolition of caste. Okay. Now there were Christian missionaries who actually set up the school for tribals and these lower caste children that we have already studied. So what happened? A chapter was there related to tribal, and that we have read this thing. Okay. So Christian missionaries they began setting up schools for tribal groups and lower caste children. Okay. So these Christian missionaries started setting up the school. Now one more thing was there. There were many reformers, and if you see, most of the reformers were from upper caste. Most of the reformers were of upper caste. Okay. In spite of being upper caste, these people, these reformers, often violated caste taboos, to get rid of the caste prejudice. So, if you see, many of the reformers were from upper caste. So, if you see, there was they were actually enjoying the service of the lower caste, right? The upper caste was actually enjoying the service of the lower caste, but still, those upper caste reformers felt that we are not treating these lower caste people properly. Okay, this caste system should not be there. Okay, now what they did, they often violated the caste taboos to get rid of the caste prejudice. So what was the thinking of the people? The people used to think, if we will touch these untouchables, we will become impure. Yes, this was the thinking. Now what these reformers used to do to violate these taboos, they used to hug those lower caste people. Okay, and they used to tell, where I have changed? Have I become impure? Have I changed? So like this they used to do. Now if you see, the people were thinking be lot of destruction. Everything will be destroyed. The God will be unhappy and destruction will be there. So what these people used to do, these people at night used to take them to the temple to break this prejudice. Okay, to break this prejudice, to tell people that you people are thinking wrong. If they will touch our God, if they will go into the temple, nothing will happen. They are just like us. They are people just like us. So nothing will happen. So like this, these upper caste reformers, sometimes they used to violate the caste taboos so that they can rid of the caste prejudice, so that they can change the mentality of the society. Understood? Now, slowly and gradually the caste system was breaking. How it was breaking? So that also we will understand how this caste system was breaking. So this was breaking with the expansion of cities. With the expansion of cities. Okay. So here, if you see, it was reason of breaking down of caste system. So the cities were expanding, cities were growing. Now the people were moving from their village to the town in a search of work. Okay, so in that scenario, the caste system was slowly and gradually breaking. Also, poor people, many of them, low caste, begin to move toward cities. So I told that the poor people, the people who mostly they were from low caste, so they started moving towards cities. So why they migrated from cities? So they migrated so that there will be possibilities of getting job. So there would be possibilities of getting job. So in search of job, these people move to cities. Also, opportunity to get away from the oppressive. You always take notes when I am teaching. Keep notebook and pen with you. Okay. Oppressive hold of the upper caste landowners. So as you know, in village their life was very difficult. Yes, their life in village was very difficult. The upper caste were oppressive. They were oppressing these people. So what these people felt? These people felt that anyways the cities are growing, there is demand for people, job is there. So these people move towards the cities. So why they move towards the city? Because of the job, in the search of job. Also, they took it as an opportunity to get away from the oppressive hold of the upper caste landlord. The upper caste landlord who were oppressive, who used to oppress these people, they thought if we'll go to city and we'll earn money, at least we will get rid of these landowners. Okay. Now, what were the opportunities in cities for these people? So that we will understand. If we see these poor people then carriers, then bricklayers, then sewage cleaners, then sweepers, then palanquin bearers, then rickshaw pullers. So these kind of jobs were there for low caste people. Now here one thing is there, other things you would be understanding. Palanquin bearer means palki utane. Okay, the palki was there, palanquin. So
just a minute, there is some problem. Okay.
so it is palanquin bearer is palki, the people who bear the palki. Earlier the palki was there. So these people were working as coolies, diggers, carriers, bricklayers, sewage cleaners, sweepers, palanquin bearers, rickshaw pullers. So if you see, these people were needed in cities, and if these low caste people, they used to go to the cities. So that oppressive thing was not there in the cities. Like if you see, today you people are living in cities. So if when you are sitting in the class, your friends are sitting next to you, right? So do you know the caste of the friend who is sitting next to you? No. And if you know also, because your people are knowing your friends from a long time and you all are from here, but if you go to some other city for study purpose, so will you ask caste to person sitting next to you? Generally we don't do that in cities. We don't ask caste, right, in cities. So because of that thing, these low caste people were slowly and gradually moving towards the cities. As cities were growing, and because of that they were going there. And anyways, there was need for the people in cities. So these people thought, if we'll go to the cities and we'll work, then these landowners who are oppressing us here will get rid of these landowners, oppressive landowners. Okay. Now these, if you see, if there is a coolie, if you want a coolie, will you ask caste to that coolie? What caste you are, then only I will allow you to take my luggage? No. So when they were doing this work, the low caste people, they were not feeling that they are oppressed. Okay. Now there were other jobs also. If you see, there was other job also, which also has broken this caste inequality. What was that job? So that job was army. In army, what happened? A number of Mahar people. Mahar was considered as the untouchable caste. Okay. So a number of Mahar people joined in the Mahar regiment. Okay. Mahar regiment. Now the army job was there, right? So this Mahar people, the upper caste people, anyways they did not want to go in this army. Okay, so this Mahar people who were considered as untouchables, they were selected in army, and they found the Mahar regiment. Okay, they formed regiment. Now, if you remember Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who is the father of our constitution, so B.R. Ambedkar also belongs to this Mahar community, and because of that, he has faced a lot of discrimination in his childhood. But he proved that caste cannot bound the person. Right? He has made our constitution. He has given us the constitution. So caste cannot hold a person. Now there is one topic. There is one topic which is related to this caste system. So there was one incident, okay, and on this, on that incident only we have this topic, okay. So that is who could produce shoes. Now you will say, what is this topic, ma'am? Why will we need shoes production in this? So this is related to our topic. In this, if you see, in India, there is social practice. What kind of social practice? Regarding shoemaking. There was a social practice regarding shoemaking. Nowadays, you are having big companies. But that time it was not there. Right. So, there was a social practice that a specific community, a specific caste will make the shoe. So, in Hindi, if you see, we used to call them chamam, right? They used to do the work of leather, right? So, according to that, the name was given, right? So, they only will be producing the shoe. They will only make the shoe. And how these shoes were made? These shoes were made out of leather. The shoes were made out of leather. Now, when animals die, their skin is removed, right? And from that only shoes were made. Yes or no? So, shoes were made from the dead leather, that is taken from the dead animals. So, these specific community, what they used to do, they used to make shoes. And they were regarded as untouchables. The people used to think that they are just working with dead animals. Their work is to take leather from dead animals, and it is a very dirty work to do. So these people are dirty and impure, and if we will touch them, we will also become impure. So that is why this work was considered as dirty and polluting. And because of that, these people were also considered as dirty, untouchables. Okay. Now, this was the thing in the society. Then things changed during First World War. First World War. Now, what happened in First World War? In First World War, there was demand for war products. There was demand for war products. So, in war products, there was demand for shoes. Now you will think, are they going to fight with shoes? No, they are not going to fight with shoes. But yes, the soldiers who are fighting in this war, they need shoes. Yes? So, during First World War, there was demand of shoes, war products, and in these war products, there was demand of shoes. In this, if you remember, if you Germany and Britain was fighting and we were colonized by Britain. Yes? Now what happened? There was demand for shoes for the armies, for the people who were fighting. Now, in this World War, many soldiers were fighting, not 1, 2 or thousands, right? Many of the countries were involved. Now in this situation, a great demand for shoes was there. Now they started finding who could produce shoes. As you know, upper caste were considering this work as dirty, polluting. So they will not go and make these shoes. They will not touch dead animals and they will not make shoes. So who is going to produce shoes? Ultimately, that specific community is going to make shoes. Their specific caste people are going to make the shoes. They will only make the shoes because other people consider that word as untouchable, as dirty, polluting. Okay. So here what happened? Here those people produced shoes for the army people who were fighting in the First World War. Okay. So what happened with this? With this caste prejudice against leather war means that only the traditional leather worker and shoemakers were ready to supply army shoes. So what happened with this? With this, traditional workers could ask for high price and gain impressive profit. Now what happened with this? If you see, the caste prejudice against leather work means that only traditional leather workers and shoemakers were ready to supply army shoes. Now I already told upper caste were thinking that this is very dirty job, very polluting work, and they will not do that. Now only the traditional leather workers who were there, they were only ready to make the shoes. Okay. So in that case, what happened? These traditional workers could ask for high price and they can get profit. They can tell that either if you like, you give us the work. If you don't like, go and ask upper caste to make it, other caste people to make it, and they will not make. So like this, these people, these traditional leather workers, they gained a lot of profit. So here the caste prejudice actually helped him to get profit. But now if you see, you cannot say that only lower caste people will have a shop of shoe. Is it there? No. The factory of shoe will be only of lower caste people. No. Now these things are not there. But that time it was there. So some ways if you see, there were some incidents where this caste prejudice helped this lower caste people. Understand? understood, to get profit. Okay. So now, is there any question till now from this chapter? Till now, whatever we read, do you have any question regarding that? No questions. Please do your homework properly. Many of the homework I am not getting properly till now. Some of you only sending me incomplete homework. Please, at least you should know that you need to do the homework of Monday and Wednesday both and send it to me. Some people are only doing homework of Monday, some are doing only homework of Wednesday. I don't know why. And some are just Googling, going on Google and just surfing Google. And nothing I am getting with that. The Google answers are not appropriate at all. It is inappropriate. It is not related to your chapters. The Google has a general answer and you need to